Good afternoon, everyone. We have audio, we have video. Let's do this. Part 2 of our Final Cut breakdown. Very basic tutorial. We started yesterday. We are going to keep on going today. And going to go a bit quicker today, only 20 minutes of live. And obviously, as usual, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments. One thing to be able to comment, you need to subscribe to the channel first. And welcome everyone. Open to any questions, as I said. Can be filmmaking related, editing, anything, pretty much. And if you don't have any questions, come and say hello. That's all. So I know who is here. All right. We're gonna get started where we left off. So if you missed part 1, go back on my YouTube channel. I'll show you where to find it here. So if you go on my YouTube, you can go into videos. Otherwise, there is a playlist right here called Past Live Stream. And here you can find part 1, where we covered a bunch of stuff on Final Cut, from file management to this right side of the board. So I guess we are gonna get going and keep going here on the right side. We'll do this panel here, and we'll go deeper as well into the timeline. And if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me. I'm reading your comments. Today's stream is going to be slightly shorter. I have to finish by within the next 20 minutes. So gives me a good reason to finish off today and not do a part 3 on Final Cut. So basically we were here, and at the top, this is where all your effects are, and this is where you can put your color boards, and you can choose as well what kind of effect you want. Mostly those effects, you'll find them in here. So to show this page at the bottom, you have to click on this small icon, the 2 squares, and those are effects that you can apply on the video. 2 ways of applying your effects. You select the clip first, and you double click on the effect. The good thing about the color board is that you don't need to go and look it up. But most effects, even if it's a blur, so let's say a Gaussian blur, you can drag and drop on the clip, and it's going to show here. And then you can arrange the effects, the order of the effects here. And it's going to be having different effects. It's going to affect your clips differently depending on whether the blur, for example here, is above my color or below. And obviously you can change all your settings through those sliders for all the effects. So here I obviously took a Gaussian blur, but it could be anything. Final Cut has a bunch of them, some more useful than others. And this is where I've got a few plugins as well. And pretty much a bunch of effects. Always consider searching here using the search bar to find your effects. This is where you can apply Luts as well. So if you look for Luts and make sure you are here selected to all, here we go, custom LUT, and same deal, double click or drag and drop, and now you've got your LUTs. And here you can look them up. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to access, I think we talked about all of this already yesterday. Stabilization, we were on stabilization. Rolling shutter is if you have a camera that has a high rolling shutter, you can eventually correct it here. To be honest with you, I've never used that function. Special conform, very important one. Basically, when you drag and drop your clip into the timeline, your clips can be a different size from the timeline. And let's take our second here project. When those clips are shot in 4K 16:9, and by default, Final Cut is on fit. I'm just going to reset everything for you. So that's basically what you would see, but see my framing is much taller than that. And you've got in the special conform a few options. Obviously fit, which is going to make sure everything is fitting within your frame, or fill, which is going to use your other edge and make sure you're filling the whole screen with your video. And then you can obviously transform it with the position slider here. So I'm just going to come back to my previous project. You can use that arrow or click on the demo, double click here again on demo. And I'm just going to remove my effect on the Gaussian blur here so that we can just going to reset everything. So that's pretty much it on that right board. Red conform frame sampling. It's if you are using clips that are I would say if you're using clips that are not the same frame rate than your timeline. So it's going to give you a few options here. Optical flow and frame blending, being that you have not enough, so you have 12 frames. So for example, you have 12 frames per second on a 24 frames per second timeline. What kind of blending mode you want to use? Otherwise, it's going to look very weird. But I'm going to, that's a bit more advanced, so I'm going to skip that. Obviously, when you apply all your effects on a clip, so let's apply a LUT on this one, like just a LUT. I've got a color board as well. Let's say we are going to make some changes to this one. It's a bit too purple to my taste, so I'm just going to go and remove some purple. That's the idea. When you're here, you can save the effects presets. And that's basically saving any modifications you did on that clip, and you can save them in your library of effects. This is very useful if you are, for example, using always the same type of correction on multiple clips or multiple projects. I do have my own, for example, let's cancel that. But I've got here my one called Color Perso, and that's where I've got a bunch of effects from previous projects that I really like, for example, and I sometimes reuse when I vlog. Some are from like places I've been, and I really like the colors I created, so I save them and I can reuse them. So yeah, pretty straightforward, and you've got a bunch of effects, whether it's for video or for audio as well. Got a bunch for audio to change your audio effects. And your audio effects, let's say here that one, if I bring back the audio, we're going to put an equalizer on this one. They will be here on this third microphone. And here you can see I've got my equalizer, and I can do the changes directly on my audio. Make sure you click on Analyzer for this one, but that's the idea. And you've got a bunch of effects. Let's go through them very quickly. Obviously, you've got the volume that you can adjust here as well. And in order to see a bit better what's happening in the waveforms, you can use that shortcut that's going to change your display. I really like to use that one usually, and I extend that a bit so I can see where my audio waveforms are at. So you can change the volume just by dragging up and down here, or dragging this slider, or dragging up and down here, the same way. Equalization, it's the same kind of equalizer that I just applied, just a bit more simple. See, like a bit less options, but you can have an equalizer here. Loudness, if your clip is not loud enough, it's going to boost it a bit. Same, you can find some proper gain filters in the library at the bottom. Noise removal, if you have some noise in your clip, that's and same with the frequency removal here. If you don't want to dig into the effects. Obviously, you can get some better results using the effects, but Sometimes those work very well. I don't use them too much because it can be a bit overdone. And hello, Andrew. It can be not that good. So I'd rather use my own equalizer, for example. If I want to remove some frequencies, I know how to use that tool, and you can be a bit more accurate and have better results. So that's it for the audio. Here, very quickly, you've got a small eye for the info tab, and it gives you all the information you need to know for your clip. Those are based on your time code, the duration of the clip, and like you've got a bunch of commands that you can put here that I never use. You can put a camera alert here. If you're not doing any color grading, for example, you can already apply a camera alert here. And one very good thing about this is alert is going to, it's not going to, if you apply it here, it's not going to apply as a filter, it's going to apply as changing the data directly of the file, which means you don't need to pre-render anything. So it saves you a lot of time if you don't do any color grading and just need a conversion LUT. That's a very good way of doing it. Yeah. 360 projection mode. If we are editing 360 clips, which we are not today, but I can come back to this in another tutorial. I actually have, I'll show you, I have a video on YouTube, this one here, where I talk through, I guide you through the 360 reframing of the GoPro Max or Fusion in Final Cut. All right, is everyone following me so far? I know Andrew is not even on Final Cut, but maybe you're interested of switching to Premiere, from Premiere or from DaVinci. And a bunch of information. One of the most important one I would say is the video frame rate here. If you forgot, and I always forget what format I film what frame rate I'm filming my video in, you can find this information here. Don't rely on whatever is written here, the 60p, because for some reason it's been years that Final Cut has been wrong in this title. I don't know why it hasn't been fixed, but whatever. Video frame rate, your real frame rate is going to be here, and even if you're off speed, it's going to keep that number here for you, so you can tell we were shooting in 4K here at 120, 119. And here at the very bottom, it's giving you what file you have, so you can see I created some proxies for that project, so that's why it's pretty quick at the moment for that tutorial. If you guys just joined, welcome to my live stream. Today we are doing Final Cut Part 2, and it's going to be a very short one, just finishing off what we couldn't cover yesterday. If you have any questions, please leave them down in comments on the chat. I'll make sure to answer them. We've got only a few minutes left, so jump on it now before it's over. And yeah, if you want to comment, you need to subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, it won't let you, I think. Leave a thumb up if you enjoy the content, subscribe, and share to whoever could be interested, whoever you know could be interested. Oops, sorry about that. Let's go back into Final Cut. So we've got our effects here. A few tools. Let's go from the left. Here, that one is the snap tool. So basically, I'm going to close that. It's going to help you snap on every edge. Let's say I'm going to duplicate that clip here at the top. If I deactivate that, now, okay, my bad. Sorry, it's not the snap tool, is this one. I'm tired, sorry guys. That one is the playhead, so it's the skimming, that's the word I was looking for. See, now I'm hovering over my timeline and nothing happens. If I reactivate skimming, which is as well shortcut S, that's what's happening. Very useful if you want to skim through your footage, obviously. And the only reason why you would want to turn that off is if you want to save some power and not push too much your machine. So very useful. That one, I always turn it off. I really don't like it. It's skimming for the audio, as you can hear. I find it super annoying. I don't use it unless you are doing interviews or in some cases eventually. This one is, I don't know, solo selected item. Okay. So you've seen me when I edit, I like to use the V key to deactivate my clip. That one is doing exactly the opposite. So what's the shortcut for this one? Option S. So basically it's going to isolate your clip and turn everything else off, which can be very useful if you have, let's say, doing sound effects and you have multiple tracks of sound effects and you just want to listen to that one sound effect. You will do Option S and it's going to isolate your clip. Very useful. And here is the snapping. So it acts like a magnet. So let's say now, if I move that clip above, see how nothing happens, I can leave it. And it's actually very tricky to align perfectly at the end. Obviously here, it's a magnetic timeline, so it doesn't matter. It's going to always snap at the end. But now let's turn back on snapping, and you'll see when I go at the beginning of another clip, see how it's now trying to snap at the top, at the beginning, or at the end, to whatever cut line there is. So very useful, but sometimes when you want to do some very accurate editing, and you don't want the snapping. Here, that one we just covered it. So obviously you can zoom on the timeline. There are many ways of zooming on timeline. If you have a trackpad, a magic trackpad like I have, you can use the trackpad like a pinch in, pinch out like you would do on an iPhone. I don't find it very accurate. You can use Command plus or minus, which I use the most. And Shift Z is going to adjust your timeline to your screen to maximize it. And if you just press Z, it's changing your cursor as a zoom tool, as a magnifier, so you can select which area you want to zoom in. Very convenient. Press A to come back to the selection tool. But see now like how the timeline works. I can't untick. The last clip has to be connected to the previous clip. That's how Final Cut works. That's the whole magnetic timeline. And finally, so that one we talked about it, the effects, and finally the transitions. Here you've got all the transitions like you would want. Obviously, cross-dissolve being the most used one. And oops, sorry, but yeah, to give you some nice transitions, and you can download your zoom transitions here if you want, if you're into that kind of thing. All right, up to now, any questions, guys? Oh, one thing I can show you is here I've got a frame. Oh, give me 1 sec. I'm just going to put you a quick video. Sorry about that, guys. It's my Uber Eats. So I wanted to try on OBS if I could put a waiting video. It looks like it worked. Hope you liked it. I can show you how to do that one. If you're interested, let me know in the comments. Very easy, and I actually use Premiere to reframe, but it can be done within Final Cut. I've got my food arriving, so someone is going to knock at the door very quickly, and I'll put back the video for a few seconds. Sorry about that. No one is home. I'm home. I don't know. So yeah, all your transitions obviously are here, and that's it. And you can search for them as well here. So next, what can we cover? If you have any questions, it's pretty much it for the live stream. We are 20 minutes, like I said. If you have any questions, I'm going to give you 3 minutes to ask them in comments. Otherwise, we'll end up the stream. So I'll keep that video rolling and send your questions. See you guys. And that's it, guys. Let me know if you had the audio in that video. I have to check because I don't know if my waiting thing is displaying any audio for you guys. But I'm pretty quiet today, so I think I'm going to end the chat now. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please consider leaving a like if you enjoy the content. Feel free to comment even if the live stream is ended. With any questions, I may answer that in the comment directly or make a new video about that. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. Queensland time, and we'll talk more about Final Cut, or we might change topic if you guys want to talk about something else. So that's it. Have an amazing day. Thanks very much, team. See you guys.